Well, it's good news, and because I think the UK defence budget has been diminished considerably in real spending terms over the past couple of decades. My comment would be that it's too little, too late. By 2030, it will barely keep up with inflation. And the requirement for additional defence spending, given circumstances in Eastern Europe, is now, or as close to now as we can get to. Defence spending is notoriously expensive, and it's not something that you can sort of ramp up overnight. So if this had happened 5 years ago, that would have been much, much better. But in the absence of anything else, yes, it's good news.
It depends, though, partly, doesn't it, as to where this money gets spent? Because obviously there's been so much focus on cyber warfare over the last few years, when suddenly we've had this resurgence of ground warfare. So they've got to spend it in the right places, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely right. I think the Chief of the General Staff, General Sir Patrick Sanders, said that you can't cyber your way over an opposed river crossing, and it has to be spent in the right place. And the British Army, in particular, is too small. Much or most of its equipment is either obsolete or obsolescent, and that's where the money has to be spent. But I come back to my point: it won't happen overnight, and it should have happened 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an army recruitment advert. It may be for all of our armed forces, where you see a robot running along the ground, and then he turns into a man, and the slogan is, "We don't need robots, we need men." And that would buy into the fact that we simply don't have enough. We don't have a big enough army now for changing needs.
And that too is correct, Anne. When it comes down to it, the one thing that Ukraine has shown us is that numbers matter. And victory usually goes to the big battalions. And while there's always going to be a place in the future for robots and autonomous and semi-autonomous weapon systems, the man or woman in the loop is crucial. And if the army goes down to 72,500 personnel, which is the smallest number since Napoleonic times, and which General Sanders has said is perverse at this time in life, then we're going to be in trouble, because we can't do what we should be doing in terms of national defence.